Well, hello to you all freedom lovers across this planet and to all the British patriots in our beautiful kingdom. Welcome to 2CTV. This is the latest update on the national security threats in the capital, in London. We have some good news, as some of you might have already heard, but this is the Metropolitan Police announcing that they have arrested a number of activists, the Palestine Action activists who were planning to disrupt and target the City of London and the London Stock Exchange this morning on Monday the 15th of January. I just had to look at the date. Forgot that we're in January right now. Hello to everybody in the live chat. We're going to get your reaction live during this live stream. Let's start the show by talking about what's going on. So the London Stock Exchange was about to get targeted this morning, about to get disrupted by the Palestine Action group, and we're going to talk about the idiots, who they actually are. We found out last night, that the Metropolitan Police announced that 6 people were arrested by detectives investigating a plot to disrupt the London Stock Exchange. The 6 of them, all members of the Palestine Action, were arrested in Liverpool, London and Brighton. Every single city we mentioned on this list are basically communist cities. Liverpool. London is lost, and Brighton is, of course, the independent republic of communism and Greens. They remain in custody. So I can imagine, obviously, the Metropolitan Police took responsibility and did the arrests, but I could easily see that the groundwork was done by the intelligence unit in the City of London Corporation. Of course, they are very good at these sort of issues because, of course, when the finances are involved, the intelligence will be on top of everything. So we're going to talk about what's actually happened, how these arrests occurred, because it was actually about investigation done by a newspaper, The Express. Yes, Daily Express. They did something useful. They did this, and they obviously passed on the information to the authorities, and this happened. And we're going to talk about the Palestine Action lot, because they are a very interesting group. A bunch of nutters, but they are what I call professional protesters. And the people behind them are similar financial backers who also fund eco groups like Extinction Rebellion and Just Stop Oil. So let's talk about what the statement we received from the Met. They said the investigation began after information was passed to the Met by the Daily Express about 4 days ago, on Friday the 12th of January. It was alleged that activists from the Palestine Action group were intending to target the London Stock Exchange on the morning of the 15th of January, Monday, causing damage and locking on in an effort to prevent the building opening for trading. In the early hours of Sunday, 14th of January, Met officers working alongside colleagues from Merseyside police arrested a 31-year-old man in Liverpool on suspicion of conspiracy to cause criminal damage. They also continued by saying a further 5 people, all believed to be part of the same plot, were arrested later on Sunday, again this is yesterday, for the same offence. A 29-year-old woman was arrested in Albert Road, Brent, and a 23-year-old man was arrested in Ross Street, Tower Hamlets. Of course, it's Tower Hamlets. 2 women aged 28 and 26 were arrested in Liverpool, and a 27-year-old man was arrested in Brighton. All 6 remain in custody. Now, these are the man from Brighton is a man-child. Like, literally, they might be in their late 20s or whatever they are, but they are basically immature professional activists. So, Palestine Action. Where do we start? This is what they actually said themselves on Twitter following the arrests. The London Stock Exchange raised billions of pounds for the apartheid state of Israel and actively boasts about their support for Israeli businesses. The exchange also trades shares in weapon manufacturers who arm Israeli genocide of the Palestinian people. While Palestinians are being massacred and remain brutally colonized by a regime which Britain backs, it is crucial that we disrupt every mechanism that enables their oppression. Palestine Action has consistently taken direct action against the Israeli weapons trade. Before I read that statement, I should have actually started the drinking game or bingo, because they are using all the keywords from apartheid to colonizers and everything else. And actually, it's probably a bad idea, because by the time we finish the statement, everybody will be drunk. Let's continue. They also said, we are unafraid of putting our liberty on the line in order to bring down Israeli weapons manufacturers and those who facilitate them. If you want to join the fight, join us. No, don't do that. Instead, watch 2TTV. So, the idiocy of this. Now, I'm not the biggest supporter of globalist international trade and all that stuff, but especially when it comes to weapon manufacturers, fine. But these are the idiotic, far left activists who are going around hand in hand with Islamists because they think, oh, we're just supporting innocent Muslims. But they are literally doing their bidding in the West. And the activists for Palestine Action groups, they are a combination of white British communists and Marxists and actual Muslims from the Middle East and South Asia. So, that actual Islamism, the political ideology of Islam. The reason we say Islamism, people say, why not just say Muslims? It's because you can be an Islamist without being a Muslim from the Middle East. So Islamism as a political ideology, like Marxism, you don't have to be German to be Marxist. You can actually have what we will call the white English British far left, who are promoting the same ideology. It is Islamism. So they might not be from the Middle East themselves, but they are Islamists. So there's a combination of course, Muslims and non-Muslim Islamists. So it's a very messed up ideology, obviously. It goes hand in hand with new Marxism. Anyway, we also have this statement from Detective Superintendent Thomas saying that these are significant arrests. We believe that this group was ready to carry out a disruptive and damaging stunt, which could have had serious implications had it been carried out successfully. I'm grateful to the Express for their willingness to provide the information gleaned from their own investigation. It was instrumental in helping us intervene successfully. Having only been provided with the material on Friday afternoon, we had limited time to act. It is thanks to the determined efforts from our public order crime team and our colleagues in Merseyside that we were able to identify, locate and arrest those we suspect to be involved in this plot. Oh, I've got so much to say about this statement in a second. Just wait for this. Mindful of the suggestion that this was one part of a planned week of action, we are in contact with the City of London Police as well as other forces across the UK to ensure that appropriate resources are in place to deal with any disruption in the coming days. So, the establishment and the Met would expect me right now on this channel to say, well done, thank you. What am I going to say? No. Of course I'm going to say well done, but you just saw from the statement, they said they got the information, basic information on Friday. Within 2 days, they did a full operation, arrested every single one of the people who were involved. Now, forget about small little crimes like when my Apple AirPods were taken from me in London. And those who are familiar with the Apple products, you can actually trace where it is. I could see it on my phone where it is. Now I told the police, can you just go and pick it up from this house? I knew exactly where the person is. They said, we don't have the resources. And they didn't do anything about it. Forget about small crimes. Any other bigger crime, how long will it take for the police to even act? Even if they decide to act, yeah, it will take about 15 years. Somehow, when it came to the City of London and the London Stock Exchange, they're always on top of it. By the way, they should have. I'm not saying they shouldn't have. Good that they did this. It will be very disruptive. It would affect the whole of the market, yes. But it will be nicer if we also get the same effort on a regular basis, on a daily basis, instead of having police officers sitting in an office checking people's Facebook posts and tweets, or whatever we call it now, X posts. I can't say that. It's so boring. This is the problem. So well done, police, and of course the intelligence, but, step up your game. That's one thing. Secondly, as I said, these people who are a combination of the actual far left Marxists as well as the Muslims who are Islamists, the issue that we have with this is that not many people have been taking them seriously. Just like Just Stop Oil and Extinction Rebellion, who have, at times, similar financial backers and donors. We've already exposed people like George Soros, who've been funding, and the Open Society nonsense, been funding the same type of groups all the time, and the establishment allow them to do disruptions on a regular basis because they are afraid of taking more action against them, right? And or maybe they think, well, they're just, spoiled children. Let them pour some paint on the treasury, the building or whatever, and they will go home. The issue we have is that at times they will go too far. When the other group, what's that peace, eco nonsense group, Greenpeace, when they infiltrated Rishi Sunak's Yorkshire house, or when what they were about to do today at the London Stock Exchange. This is what we will call domestic terrorism. You have to take it seriously. Yeah, there might be a bunch of green hair, pink hair, spoiled middle class kids, but they are also dangerous. If you allow them, they could actually do something very, very dangerous at some point. So let's go to the live chat quickly, get some of your reaction as well. I think we have a super chat already. There we go. Al Capone is back apparently. Thank you so much, Al Capone, for your super chat. I believe from Australia, saying thanks for the news coverage. The media sector needs many like you, especially in Australia. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate this. We have one. I agree with this. It's madness. That's all I have to say about this comment. It's madness. Duncan Kent says that the police must have had their anti-hurty word suits on. For once, they got out of the office and did their job. By the way, again, I do criticize the leadership of the Met at times every day. We have to clarify, because some of the actual good police officers watch the channel as well. I've received emails from them. There are a lot of them who are actually good, but at times they have restrictions. At times they can't have the freedom to do proper policing. So I don't want to paint every single police officer the same way, but there are a lot of woke police officers as well. The recruitment drive has not gone down too well over the last few years because of identity politics and all that nonsense and quotas and diversity. Oh yeah, Antifa are at Davos, all dressed as clowns. The thing is, you got a bunch of Antifa activists outside the WF conference, but you also have a bunch of professional Antifa activists who are inside the WF conference this week in Davos. We already covered partly what they are going to be doing this week in Davos, the WF lot, about the Disease X thing. But we are going to also cover the rest of it as we find out more about their shenanigans. Of course, bunch of idiots. Anyway, let's go. What's this? This guy's in Australia? Well, me? No. You can see, look at the flag. Or the bulldog. That one. Unless you're talking about the live chat. Well, I don't know. No, I am in Londonstan. Sadiq Khan's Londonstan. And I'm still alive somehow. Still going. Right. Norma says that these plots are coordinated around the world. I do not believe in coincidence. Of course not. Again, we've already exposed how many times about people like George Soros, and it's not just George Soros and Open Society and many others as well, philanthropists who you just do basic check of financial transactions and the donations that they give out, and they have been funding all these similar groups. They're all very similar groups. Now, there might be sometimes left-wing charities or campaigns. What happened with the light behind me? Oh no, they're coming for me. George Soros, I made him angry. The light's gone off now. That's good news. All right, if the live stream ends, that means I've been taken out by the enemy. But they've been funding the same type of groups. And if basically any organization, any activist group that is against our Western values, they will support. Whether it's the eco-militant activists, whether it's the Palestine Action or Islamist groups, whether it's just basic socialist or Marxist groups, anything, or the pro-open border groups, so, with Care for Calais. Where do you think they get all these monies from? Like, all the fundings that they are getting without providing any services or creating any profit. We live in a capitalist world, right? So most of the time, if you want to be a successful organization with a lot of people, in a capitalist world, you provide a product or service to make profit and use the profit to pay people's salaries or whatever, right? Somehow, some of the biggest organizations that are influential in the Western capitalist world are not really just corporations anymore who make profit. There are entities. There are supranational entities, sometimes in the name of charity, sometimes in the name of campaign groups or lobby groups or think tanks. And they make more money than a capitalist corporation, a business. So look at the funding that the Tony Blair Institute, I think, receives, or the Bill Gates Foundation lot, or the Bill Clinton lot, all of them, all Open Society. They make more money than a business that works hard to sell a product. Now that's not normal. We were told we live in a capitalist world where it's based on providing something and then make money. But now they do provide something. Oh yeah, to their own clients. They provide access, direct access to people in the position of power. And nobody holds them to account. So we sit here and complain about Palestine Action activists, right? Who are about to disrupt the city of London. The actual idiots. But these are the pawns. These people don't matter. These are the little soldiers. The people behind them, they are the ones that matter. Tara says, it's time to leave Earth. Put your name on the list of Elon Musk's Mars mission. It's time, guys. It's time to colonize Mars. Oh dear. Let's see. The entities are now granted the same protections as living human beings. This is also a very good point. Enoch, I believe, says, because not only are being given same protections, entities could be the corporations with influence or charity groups or whatever they are, open society. It's not just the protection. They are treated as like individual humans. So they get not just the same level of access, they get more level of access than back in the day. You could just be a rich person, like Rockefeller, right? Someone like Rockefeller, like the family and everybody else, or even the Kennedys before everyone became politicians and failed. They could basically individually, by being rich, lobby and influence and get close to the people in power. Same thing that happened in New York with the American-Italian mafia. But nowadays, you don't even have to be like that. So yes, we still have people like Bill Gates, right? But most of them are faceless. Most of them we don't even know about. Yeah, we briefly, vaguely talk about George Soros. But even us, how many of us know actual stories about George Soros? Yeah, we know some of the dodgy stuff since his childhood, but his everyday operations. We know about the entity, the open society groups, that's what those are organizations, but not the rest of the people, the rest of the board members. That's the problem. So I agree with this comment. Old Fashioned says, why are we not surprised? Yeah, exactly. And there we have this comment saying, welcome to the circus. Yes, circus run by clowns who have been given too much power. Aliens and predators keep invading the Western world. At this point, I can imagine if you're going to have any sort of alien invasion. Imagine if you're an innocent random alien just like trying to come visit Earth. You look at the state of Earth. You're like, yeah, no, make a U-turn. Go back. Never look back at Earth. Even they would stay away. All right, we move towards crazy alien talk like Daily Wire. but the whole system has gone completely rogue. The whole point of the Western world order was supposed to be rule-based system. Since the dictatorship, since the empire days, rule-based system, right? That was the whole point. But the point is, that system worked for a while, for decades, right? The issue with rule-based systems is, it's better than a dictator, right? Because a dictator will just stay forever. But you could also manipulate the rule-based system. You just have to change the rules, tweak the rules, bend the rules. Look what they did with Trump, what they're doing with Trump, the witch hunt. But they are saying, we're just doing the rule-based system. We are using the authorities. See? So the same thing with the illegal migration, mass migration. They are saying, hey, we're just following the rules. We are part of the UN Refugee Convention, or this, or the UN Migration Pact, or the ECHR. These are the rules. Yeah, but they created the rules, and then they also bend it when it suits them, the establishment. Anyway, we got off track. Chris Banks says aliens don't like woke. True story. Yep, fact. Everyone's now talking about aliens. Go home, ET. All right, stay on the topic, guys. Stay on the topic. Daniel Thomas says, give up. And give up with that. We need to leave Earth crap. No one's got a plan to save the people on the planet. And no one's got a plan to colonize another world, defend this planet against evil first. Yes, obviously, that is the case. This was a light-hearted comment, Daniel. I'm not actually planning to leave Earth, don't worry. Right, Andy says, good old Express. Yeah, I'm actually kind of impressed. Daily Express, if you joined the live stream late, this whole thing is actually thanks to Daily Express finding the story. And for once, as a mainstream newspaper, instead of using the story to just break the exclusive story to make money and getting clicks, they could have easily done that. Instead, they gave it to the authorities and then they reported it afterwards, obviously. That's actually much better. This is actually a good example of journalism. Good journalism, for once. Because usually, if it was any other paper or media channel, they would just, instead of actually helping the authorities, because the authorities need help, a lot of help, unfortunately, they would just release the story probably after the actual event has happened, like Monday morning today, which was supposed to be the disruption in the city of London. They would have then broke the story afterwards saying, yeah, we knew about it. How's that going to help anybody? We've gone back to the issue of the Islamic problem in the country. M says, why do they pray in the streets? They have mosques. I find it very confrontational and intimidating. Well, yes. It was interesting because I've been talking about this, and other people like Douglas Murray and Tommy Robinson, we've actually been saying the same thing in terms of a lot of us. We have, and actually Tommy said, we now have hundreds and thousands of mosques. And on a regular basis, we see street mass public praying. And the problem is that you have to block the whole thing because of the way the prayers work. And we've seen individuals praying on a plane, like tiny narrow corridors and stuff, and the aisles. The point of it is to show confidence and strength. It's a sign of strength. That is a reality, whether you like it or not. And while they have mosques, they could just go to a mosque, but they don't, right? Now, if you stand on a pavement and silently pray in your head as a Christian, you'll be arrested. But of course, you can block the roads on Whitehall outside Downing Street in thousands and hundreds of you, and you'll be fine. Because technically it's not against the law, right? But most of the problems that we have in this rule-based society are actual societal problems, like cultural problems, not legal problems. So the establishment will come back to you and say, well, it's not a legal problem. And if you criticize it, you're a bigot. You wonder why there's a rise of what we call nationalist movements, or what the media says far-right movements around Europe and even in America. We're just having it everywhere apart from the UK. We literally have political parties coming up, nationalist parties, populist right-wing parties, conservative parties, patriotic parties, and leaders, apart from us, right now, as we speak, obviously. You know, some people would say, oh, what about Reform UK? Reform UK they're aiming to be a good third party. They're not really a nationalist party, obviously. Not compared to like Le Pen or, you know, the movements in Italy or Germany or AfD, all those guys. I agree with this comment. Islam wants to kill English values. Not just that, every Western type of values. The one thing about the Islamic ideology, just like Marxism, is they're not just anti things. They are pro things, and it's not a good thing, by the way. They are pro their own utopia. So they don't have necessarily a problem with the English values or British values. They have a problem with any value that is not the Islamic value. Until the whole world converts, they will continue. That is the issue. All right. What's this? Supporting Farage is supporting Murdoch Media. You dig? Well, if he was working for News UK and Talk TV, probably yes. But he does work for GB News. But I know what I mean, obviously. Get the sentiment, I guess. Nigel's still establishment, but he's the anti-establishment person inside the establishment. It's still better than nothing, right? We have to bring down our expectations when it comes to rebellions in this country. I'm still really angry about the light going off behind me. I blame the Russians. Yeah, it's the Russians' fault. Putin. Skater says, the MSM mainstream media have no idea what far right is and they better hope I never get control of this country. You don't help with this comment. You don't know what far right is. We're so innocent, but wait for me to take over. But I agree with the comments, by the way, because I've basically psychoanalyzed why the liberal establishment and the media would just use the words far right. Apart from those who just want to use it as an insult to shut you up, just basically say, cancel this person, there is actually a legitimate reason they're saying it, which is very stupid, by the way. By far right, if you actually ask them, define it, what they actually mean is someone, not just people would say, oh, they're just basically against anybody who's working class. It goes beyond that. It's basically anybody who's straight talking and who could be rude, who could be controversial. It's so weird. So they don't necessarily just mean racist. They don't necessarily just mean nationalist. They mean mean-spirited, because they are such snowflakes. And of course, as in the other element, as I said, they really mean working class, and you're a peasant and you shouldn't talk, because they are snobs. Right, let's see. We have a super chat. I missed a couple of super chats. Let's go back to you guys. What's going on? Butt pain. Thank you so much from America, saying the UK will be over with if they don't deport all these radical Muslims and take away their citizenship of the radical woke left, just as bad as the USA. And we have Alona, one of our regulars from Israel, saying if the UK will be attacked by other Muslim countries, British Muslims will not be allowed to fight back. Well, already happened with Yemen. Light version. That is also very interesting, because on a very smaller level, not in terms of actual attacking, you saw what happened 2 days ago on Saturday. We showed you the videos. The protesters, whether they were Muslim themselves or white leftists in central London, literally it's been days after the Houthis went crazy again, they were carrying signs and posters and flags defending the Houthis. Now imagine hypothetically if the Houthis actually targeted London. They're not going to fight back against the Houthis. These are the people who are British citizens at times. You know, they weren't born here. Some of them actually could be born here. Anyway, the first evil 100. What a username. Brilliant. Thank you so much for your super chat support. £20 saying you are correct, Maya. That happens a lot. I'm tired of seeing the clowns destroying Great Britain. I fear what will happen for my nieces and nephews growing up here. We need to fight to save the UK from the traitors. I absolutely agree with this. There have been a lot of people who get frustrated, rightly so, but they kind of give up. They get, I can't blame them, but they become defeated, saying we should just leave the UK. Why should we leave? We should continue to fight, because they say, well, the UK's already lost. London's lost. It's now London's town. Yeah, but even if it's lost, you fight back, you take it back. You're going to keep leaving country, your own homeland, and, you know, the adopted homes. Where are you going to go? This problem's going everywhere. At some point, you're going to have to go back to Saudi Arabia. That'll probably be safer, because they're going to take over the whole Europe. So we have to fight back, even if you would think currently everything's lost. You have to stop fighting back. RG, one of our other regulars, saying, as an Israeli, I have no clue how bad or good Starmer will be for the right wing, given he is Labour. Can you shed some light for me? Well, that's a good question. The reality of it, apart from people's bias and party political tribal stuff, objectively speaking, the problem with Starmer is, okay, you don't have to be too afraid and you don't have to be too optimistic, because overall it will be similar to what we already have under the Tories, because there might be centre-left versus centre-right, but it's not the centre that is the common thing between the two sides. It's the fact that they are all globalists. By nature, the establishment, the mainstream position is being pro-globalization. And that comes hand in hand. Globalization goes hand in hand with a number of other ideologies, which is what we call the liberal progressive nonsense. And, you know, being pro-mass migration, diversity, and basically against national identities, against self-determination, and against individualism and your own individual liberties. The left-wing liberal, what we call, or globalism, they are collectivists. So they are basically against actual liberalism, because true liberalism, classical liberalism, was against collectivism. Collectivism, which obviously prioritized a collective over the individual, was usually done in the past by Marxism, fascism, National Socialism, anything that was about, or dictatorships. And then we brought what we called before liberal free market democracies. We had a good run for a couple of decades, a few decades, and now we've gone back now. So the problem with Starmer is that on a technical level, you will be like, maybe some policies, you could fix certain things better than these lazy, complacent Tories. Or they might make things a bit worse, like the tax rate or the NHS reforms. Doesn't really matter. The bigger picture is they're all the same. So if you had, for example, Jeremy Corbyn, yeah, you would see a bigger change, and not for good. But if Jeremy Corbyn became Prime Minister, he would be far left. So you would see actual change, nationalisation of everything and bad things. I'm not saying Starmer is good, but the difference between Jeremy Corbyn and, I don't know, Rishi Sunak or Boris Johnson would have been more visible. The main issue is that they're not really going to be doing anything useful. So everything will remain the same. And Starmer is not really traditional Labour. He's not even, he was a socialist when he was younger. But these people, the mainstream parties, if you want to become Prime Minister and leader, they sell out and they become more establishment. And by establishment, I mean liberal globalists. So a lot of his supporters, Keir Starmer, as Labour leader, are not really socialists anymore. The socialists will end up voting for Labour because they have no other option, really. But it's mostly the liberal left. You know, people in Brighton and Hackney and Islington. I know we have subscribers, but our followers are from those areas. I don't want to insult every single one of you. I'm insulting the people in charge of Brighton and Islington and Liverpool and those places. Not every single person. Ahi, thank you so much for your super chat. Saying, yes, eventually there won't be anywhere left to run. We need to take a stand where we are. Absolutely agree. And maybe we have to go through this dark phase, the fall, before we rise up. Not saying give up now and just wait for the fall to happen, but remain optimistic, remain energetic. And now I'm going to have to find out why this light went off. And I want to say massive thank you. There's another super chat. I was just about to say goodbye. Hang on, let's see what we have here. Peter Green, thank you so much, Peter, for your support, saying, I'll be effed if I'm leaving. Just try pushing me out. I'll show you what a Brit does when you invade my country. And on that beautiful note, thank you so much for joining tonight's live stream. If you joined us late, make sure to scroll back to the beginning. Watch the whole thing, why not? I'm Maya Tusi, and we are the media.